Greetings, you confined to the land dreamer. It would appear that you are eager to hear what we have to say about sailing Doodles because you have stumbled onto our video. Now that you've found this episode, you should definitely watch it all the way through to the conclusion. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This episode is going to take you on an amazing journey through the world of recreational sailing, and we can assure you that it is going to go off without a hitch. Let's go into the life of Bobby Whites, a man whose name may not ring a bell when you think of an R&B musician but who enjoyed a prosperous career as a pilot for corporate jets. He had a solid financial foundation thanks to his job as a private pilot for a Texas family that owned a lot of cash. When he suffered a stroke, however, his life took an abrupt and unanticipated turn. When his ability to fly was suddenly taken away from him, he was forced to start his life again from the beginning. The seriousness of Bobby's illness was highlighted by the fact that he had to teach himself how to read all over again during the first few weeks of his recuperation. Since he was no longer able to pursue a career as a pilot, he needed to locate a new source of income. After seeing how popular sailing vlogs were online, he made the decision to try his hand at making one himself. After selling all of his possessions, he invested in a C&C yacht that was 37 feet long and built in 1984. This was the beginning of his voyage, which he documented on his YouTube channel, which he has titled Sailing Doodles. His two Labradoodle dogs, Maverick and Goose, who became an important part of his sailing experiences, inspired him to give the canal their names as a tribute to their roles in his journeys. After selling all of his belongings, Bobby left behind the constraints of a typical 9-to-5 career to pursue a life that was driven by sailing. This enterprise was launched in Houston, Texas, where he was living at the time, and it proceeded to the Florida Keys by way of the coast of Texas and Florida. Logging, on the other hand, is not without its difficulties. Contrary to what some people may imply in their films, it is not always a bed of roses. Rough Seas, the yacht that Bobby and his crew were on, was not built for extended ocean crossings, and thus they arrived in the Bahamas very quickly. Because of its large draft, the vessel was difficult to maneuver in shallow waters. Despite this, Bobby was well aware that, after acquiring more expertise, he would eventually move up to a yacht. The Rough Seas was unlucky enough to be trapped in a hurricane while it was anchored in Puerto Rico. This was a cruel twist of fate. The boat sustained substantial damage, including to its hull as well as to its mast, which was broken. Without a boat, he found himself in a hopeless situation. He was fortunate in that his YouTube channel had amassed a respectable following, and he received some financial help, which allowed him to get by for the time being. Bobby went to Thailand in search of fresh opportunities, and there he crossed paths with Ron Patson, the proprietor of Golf Charters. After some time, a friendship was formed between them, and Ron offered Bobby the opportunity to sail his Beneteau 50 back to Thailand from Vancouver. Bobby embraced the task with enthusiasm, in spite of the fact that the sailboat White Squall had been moored in that location for 3 years. After picking up his girlfriend, Laura, somewhere along the route, he continued on to Thailand with the two of them by his side. They gained money in other ways than just through advertising revenue. They started offering subscribers the opportunity to join them on sailing expeditions and stay in one of the White Squall's cabins. Their thriving online network was ecstatic to finally get to meet in person and go sailing with them because of this amazing chance. They were relieved that everything was returning to normal and ready to get back to their boat. Bobby used the money he had saved up to buy a brand new sailboat. He settled on a CT-56 and gave it the name Naughty Dogs. Their plans to cruise to the Bahamas were derailed, however, when the transmitter exploded, which resulted in a fire on board the vessel. It's a good thing nobody got wounded, and the Coast Guard was there to help them out when they needed it. Unfortunately, the insurance company did not pay for the repairs, which came to a whopping $100,000 and were not covered by the policy. They found themselves in the position of having no watercraft once again. On the other hand, they discovered that they had the option of chartering boats instead.